Hello, I'm Manisha Nair Dhawan. Today we are going to explore captivating insights of an organization that has a legacy in advanced metals chemistry and chemical technology solutions. Showcasing Johnson Matthey India. Founded over 200 years ago, Johnson Matthey is a global leader in technologies that reduce carbon emissions. It specializes in the design, development, and production of high-performance catalytical systems and sustainable chemical processes. Johnson Matthey's expertise lie in emission control technologies that are used in hundreds of millions of cars, buses, and trucks around the world, and technologies that reduce carbon emissions from fuel production, power generation, chemical production, and other hard-to-abate industries. It is a company at the forefront of energy transition, having completed multiple projects worldwide at a large scale, which are accelerating this change to a low-carbon economy. Headquartered in London, the company operates in over 30 countries, employing more than 12,000 people globally. Introducing Moritz van Tol, the CEO of Johnson Matthey's Catalyst Technologies division. With a distinguished career of more than 3 decades, Moritz is a visionary leader who is constantly driving innovation and sustainability. Welcome to the show, Moritz. So good to have you with us.
Pleasure to be here.
So Moritz, tell us, what exactly does Johnson Matthey do, and why are you looking to expand in India with an engineering center coming up in Mumbai?
Yeah, Johnson Matthey is a 4 billion PLC based in the United Kingdom for more than 200 years. And we have several divisions, 4 actually. And we produce automotive catalytic converters or catalytic converters that you put on motorcycles. We produce catalysts for fuel cells, for electrolyzers. We refine platinum group metals and make all kinds of catalysts out of those. And in my division, what we do is we help our customers produce the chemicals and fuels that they want, traditionally from like coal, oil, gas, but nowadays also from municipal solid waste. Or we have biomass or residual biomass, or even CO2, conversion of CO2 into, for example, methanol or synthetic aviation fuels or fuels for cars. So that's what we do. We design the clever bit in between. So the customers come to us with the raw materials they have, they tell us what molecules they want to make, and we design the plant, we engineer the plant and the catalysts that help with the conversion of those raw materials in the products that the customers want.
So Moritz, why India? Why expand in India? You've been doing this for donkey's years, and you're a UK company, you could be selling to anyone. So why is India important for you? And do you think it has an important role to play when it comes to the global energy transition? And is that a reason why you're building this engineering center in India?
Well, of course, when you go back, Johnson Matthey, the technologies we design traditionally in our engineering centers in London and in Manchester, but they are applied to customers by customers all around the world. So we are in that sense a global company. We have been active in India for 60 years. We have 9 sites here already. We have 1,000 employees in India. And to establish also an engineering center, a full-fledged engineering center like we have in London and Manchester, also here in India, is a very natural step.
People would say, look at Europe. It has done so much. It is doing more than, say, India does when it comes to, a green energy transition. Or look at the US, that's a huge market. But when it comes to growth, India and China are huge markets. And in the future, when India is growing, the kind of energy transition it does is going to make a huge impact into the total GHGs in the world. Is that the reason why you're betting on the future of growth in India and your company's growth in India? And how does it compare vis-a-vis China?
So when you look at India, it is of course a vast landmass with a lot of agriculture is extremely important. What is it, 20% of your GDP or something like that? So you have an enormous amount of residual biomass. You have more sunshine than many countries in Europe. Yeah? So in that sense, there is an ideal situation here to grow an economy based on renewables. And the benefit of that is, of course, that oil and gas is primarily imported into India. So that means your dollars flow to other countries.
Yes. Because we import.
Because you import. And going more like bio-based or into the renewables conversion, it's about self-sufficiency then as well. So it is good for low carbon production of chemicals and fuels for the Indian market, but also for export. And all of a sudden, you see that you generate as a country income from the exports of lower carbon footprint chemicals and fuels.
That's interesting. What role do you think India will play in global decarbonization? And why I'm asking about India's role is because there is a belief that when it comes to decarbonization in green energy technologies, everybody's on a level playing field because technology here is developing. So India is as good as, say, a developed country when it comes to developing clean energy technologies and resources there. Do you believe that this is true, or do you think companies like yours are ahead of the game, and India perhaps needs help with the technology as well?
Yeah, I think when you look at Johnson Matthey's technology portfolio, we have fantastic technologies because our engineers, what really makes us stand out versus competition is that our engineers look at energy integration and really optimize the technology in such a way that when our customers have raw materials and want to convert it into methanol or sustainable aviation fuels, they get the maximum amount of product out of those raw materials. The efficiency of our conversion technology is second to none. The great thing about India, of course, is you can immediately apply these best available technologies from Johnson Matthey in this journey towards decarbonization.
So you mentioned export, and I find it a little ironic because India depends on oil and gas imports up to 85% of its energy needs. So, if we would export clean energy, it would be phenomenal. And perhaps that's a great place to start because, India is a very value-oriented economy. But how does Johnson Matthey work with Indian companies so that, you can make it at scale and get a little bit of that Indian element of value as well?
Well, I think what we have this very good technology suite that we can really tailor the plant design to our Indian customers. Now that we also have this Indian engineering center here in Mumbai, so we are even closer to the customers than we were before. Now also with plant and catalyst design. So there is this access to the best available technologies from Johnson Matthey for the customers here in India. But also what you have, of course, and sets it apart is that this country has this vast amount of renewables that are available, and also a lot is still untapped potential. And this enormous amount of renewable electricity that the country can produce and can convert into hydrogen or chemicals. The same with the biomass. So there is so much potential here. And our technologies, we have 12,000 employees at Johnson Matthey, and we're 200 years old. So all that wealth of knowledge that goes into the design of our plants and our catalyst can be applied by our Indian customers to convert these raw materials into products for internal market and for export. And then all of a sudden, you don't need to pay for the oil and gas to come in. You get your dollars in return because you're exporting. And I think that will help tremendously in the further growth of this already very rapidly growing 4 trillion economy.
Thank you for speaking with us, Moritz. It does seem like a win-win for India and Johnson Matthey. Thank you.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
We are now joined by Mr. Ramsundar Solomai, the Managing Director of Johnson Matthey's India Engineering Center. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Ramsundar.
Thank you.
Can you tell us what presence does Johnson Matthey have in India at this point of time?
Yeah, so Johnson Matthey has been in India more than 2.5 decades. We have manufacturing centers and R&D centers. We are employing around 1,000 plus people in India, and the India Engineering Center, which we have planned in Mumbai, is basically going to cater to the catalyst technology, where we'll be engaging process engineers to all our technology offerings, including those low carbon technologies which are used to produce fuel as well as use for power generation. And we have chosen India. GM has chosen India because of the enormous talent which is available here and the expertise. So this is going to complement GM's global offerings and also the domestic offerings. So we are looking up to ramp up this manpower like 100 plus in the next 2 years and further improve upon that. So that's the kind of a plan for JM India Engineering Center in Mumbai.
Right. How do you plan to work with Indian companies so that they can reduce their carbon footprint, and when it comes to cleaner energy transition, how is JM planning to work with Indian companies, and what will the role be of the engineering center? Because you have manufacturing facilities already, plus the catalyst technology is being developed worldwide. So in this entire play of things, how do you work with Indian companies with your engineering center?
Oh, that's a very good question. So that's quite a broad question. So I'll take up one sector. Let's look at India's agriculture sector. Mm-hmm. Like you got, as per the report from the Government of India, Department of Agriculture, I think we have got like 140 million hectares of land, which is agricultural land, which is like 40% of the total land available. So this is a huge, what you call a source of feedstock. Mm-hmm. Like you have forest waste as well as this agriculture waste and the residues. Mm-hmm. So we have a technology called sustainable aviation fuel technology, which will use these agriculture residues as a feed. And this engineering center which we have here, which is going to support licensing that technology. And also we also manufacture catalyst, and that's how this whole thing works.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you very much.
Johnson Matthey India exemplifies the company's global vision, driving forward with an unwavering commitment to sustainability and innovation. As a vital hub within its international network, Johnson Matthey India remains dedicated to fostering sustainable growth, nurturing local talent, and contributing to a cleaner, healthier world. So this was the incredible journey of Johnson Matthey India. We'll be back with another fascinating story in Incredible Journeys, Brands and Leaders. Thanks for watching.